Dear colleagues, friends, sorry for this short delay and welcome to the first meeting of the Permanent Council in 2018, which the new Italian chairmanship would like to dedicate to the memory of the permanent representative of Georgia, our colleague and dear friend, Konstantin Kote Tsaldat-Stanishvili, who passed away on the 25th of December 2017. Thank you. The media have asked if they can cover the address of the chairperson-in-office. With your permission, I will allow them to operate in the hall. Thank you. I inform you that the chairmanship invited Ambassador Kubesh, head of the Council of the Council of Europe office in Vienna, and the UN liaison officer, Monsieur Baudin-Oliac, to attend today's meeting in line with the provisions of the OSCE Rules of Procedure. The draft agenda of this meeting of the Permanent Council has been issued as document PC.gal/1/18 of 8 January 2018 and is on the table in front of you. Are there any comments on the draft agenda? This does not seem to be the case. Thank you very much. And the first item on the agenda is the address by the Chairperson-in-Office of the OSCE, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation of Italy, His Excellency Angelino Alfano. Excellency, dear Minister, it is a great honor and pleasure to give you the floor. A lei la parola.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador, Signor Segretario Generale.
Secretary General, ladies and gentlemen, permanent representatives, I am very happy to speak today at the Permanent Council in order to present the priorities of the Italian chairmanship for 2018. I'd like especially to thank the Austrian chairmanship and Chancellor Sebastian Kurz and his colleague Karen Kneißl for the excellent work that they carried out in the year that has just ended. We are delighted to take the baton from our Austrian friends in order to continue with the same commitment, with great determination, aware of the responsibilities and challenges that await us. At the same time, we are certain that we can count on the support of all participating states and partner countries to continue together to broaden our horizons for cooperation with a growing measure of mutual trust and increasingly meaningful and intensified dialogue. Dialogue, ownership, and responsibility is the motto that we have chosen for our chairmanship. These are the ingredients that we believe to be fundamental in order to revive the spirit of Helsinki in its most authentic formulation. It is the spirit that then Prime Minister Aldo Moro defined as a guidepost towards the future. Today, as we face reality squarely without misgivings, our main testing ground is the search for a solution to the Ukrainian crisis. Mutual provocations have created a climate that risks compromising the confidence-building measures adopted thus far by the parties. We received a negative signal in this sense from the freezing of the activities of the Joint Center for Control and Coordination. At the same time, among the few positive exceptions, there was the prisoner exchange that took place on 27th December. We consider this to be a meaningful humanitarian gesture. Naturally, we hope that this will contribute to promoting a reversal of the trend and that it will encourage new steps towards the full application of the Minsk agreements. As we have always done in the past, we will continue with all of our energy to support the Special Monitoring Mission in Ukraine. Its work, often in extremely difficult security conditions, is crucial to prevent a new and dangerous escalation of the crisis. First and foremost, we believe it necessary to guarantee the safety of the observers, who must be able to carry out their mandate and to operate in a context of the least possible risk. On this issue and on how to increase the political will of the parties with respect to the mission, we intend to stimulate deeper internal reflection within the OSCE. Now, some claim that the very fate of the OSCE is tied to that of the Special Monitoring Mission in Ukraine. This is perhaps a deliberately exaggerated assessment, but certainly the role of the mission is a fundamental test for the credibility of our organization. We remain convinced that it is important to intensify the negotiating efforts in the framework of the Normandy format and of the Trilateral Contact Group. And in the latter framework, for example, it's vital that we revive the discussions on humanitarian issues, promoting access in conflict areas by humanitarian organizations and NGOs that are working on assistance programs. I intend to conduct a mission to Ukraine and to the Russian Federation from 30th January to the 1st of February. So I consider today's discussions useful in preparation for this mission, and I'd like to thank you in advance for your observations on this topic. Looking beyond the Ukrainian crisis, our attention will remain high and unchanged on all of the principal protracted conflicts. In Transnistria, 2017 ended with a positive and encouraging momentum. This is thanks to the achievement of meaningful agreements, beginning with the long-awaited reopening of the bridge over the Dniester River. These developments indicate that this could be a crucial moment for the resolution of the crisis. My appreciation goes to the parties and actors of the 5+2 format, but let me also assure you that Italy will continue on this path in order to try to make additional progress. I have decided to entrust the office of Special Representative for the Transnistria to a man of great caliber and authority, Franco Frattini, former Italian Minister of Foreign Affairs and former Vice President of the European Commission. With respect to Georgia, we will support the Geneva International discussions. We are prepared to encourage dialogue through informal initiatives as well, as long as the prerequisites are in place. Regarding Nagorno-Karabakh, we will support the work of the co-chairs of the Minsk Group to find a definitive agreed solution to this conflict. At the same time, we intend to attach greater importance to the many challenges emanating from the Mediterranean region. We will reinvigorate the intuition of our founding fathers, who recognized in the Helsinki Final Act, in that act, they recognized the indivisibility of Euro-Mediterranean security. They also recognized the fact that the Mediterranean dimension complements rather than is an alternative to the Eurasian dimension. They are mutually reinforcing. Dear ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, permanent representatives, when seen on a world map, the Mediterranean appears to be a lake. But the situation being played out in this small sea is so small, that is, it may seem to be a lake, is not regional in scale. It is not regional, it is global. To a great degree, global security and prosperity are dependent upon the dynamics of the Mediterranean region, and therefore they are also dependent upon the ability of the OSCE and its participating states to hold fruitful dialogue and to cooperate closely with the partner countries from the southern shores of the Mediterranean. For this reason, we have decided to precede our chairmanship of the OSCE with the Palermo Mediterranean Conference, which was held last October, and the spreading of the spirit of Palermo. That is, the ability to build an authentic partnership among the 57 countries of the OSCE and the Mediterranean countries. So I repeat, among the 57 countries of the OSCE and the Mediterranean countries. This is a partnership which is very important in three crucial areas. First, more political dialogue based on shared responsibility and solidarity in the face of all of our principal common challenges. Secondly, more concrete security cooperation for the monitoring of migratory routes, also in light of the risk of the return to Europe of foreign fighters following the military defeat of Daesh in Iraq and in Syria. And thirdly, more cultural investments to address the dangerous fault line that has appeared in the Mediterranean region, in which fanaticism, violent extremism, and terrorism are proliferating. The added value of the Mediterranean Partnership is to be found in the search for practical cooperation, with the rediscovery of the OSCE's vocation as an inclusive multilateral platform. And here, I refer to our organization's function as a bridge builder. While it was the spirit of Helsinki that 40 years ago inspired the rapprochement between East and West during the Cold War, it is the spirit of Palermo today that sustains and strengthens dialogue for peace and security in the Mediterranean. The migratory crisis itself would be insoluble without a greater sharing of responsibility and without international solidarity. This is because, as we know, the migratory crisis is a global phenomenon which is destined to last for many years, and as such, it can only be managed through the most authentic multilateral spirit, extending our hand towards our Mediterranean partners. Facing the topic of immigration also involves managing integration. In this area, we intend to maintain our close cooperation with the OSCE High Commissioner on National Minorities, Ambassador Lamberto Zanier, and naturally with the Slovakian chairmanship, who have succeeded us as chair of the Mediterranean Contact Group. And here and now, I would like to wish them every success. Dear Secretary General, dear permanent representatives, the Italian chairmanship will spare no effort to strengthen the three dimensions upon which the comprehensive security concept of our organization is based. In constant dialogue with all of you, with the Parliamentary Assembly, and with the autonomous institutions. But I should like to recall at the same time that in order to pursue concrete and lasting objectives, it will be necessary that there be a responsible contribution from all participating states. In order to be able to function, the OSCE must dispose of sufficient resources which are guaranteed and predictable, and this can only be guaranteed by the rapid approval of the 2018 Unified Budget. In the political-military dimension, we count on the political will of participating states to pursue with determination a relaunch of the logic of cooperative security. It is our duty to reaffirm the instruments of cooperative security in order to reduce to a minimum the risk for misunderstandings and to increase trust, transparency, predictability, and moderation. Our objective is to achieve concrete results even in the area of conventional arms control. The Italian chairmanship will also do its very best in order to provide a new impetus to structured dialogue, which a year after its beginning has already provided an important result, and that is the capacity for frank and substantive dialogue, even on controversial topics. We will also pay special attention to transnational threats, an area in which the increased cooperation with partners, both Mediterranean and Asian, is crucial. We will pay special attention to fighting terrorism, radicalization with a focus on combating the use of the internet on the part of terrorist groups, and to cybersecurity, as well as countering illicit traffics in arms, drugs, cultural goods, hazardous waste, or even in wild animals. We place the greatest importance on finding and weakening the links between terrorism and criminal activities. We intend to promote a holistic approach to the fight against terrorism, which will involve protecting human rights and fundamental freedoms, as well as investing in education and culture with great attention towards women and youth. We will also fight against corruption in all of its forms, and towards this end, I have decided to nominate as special representative for the fight against corruption Professor Paola Severino, former Italian Minister of Justice, who is here with us today, and it is my pleasure to introduce her to you. Corruption eats away at the rule of law and undermines trust between citizens and the state, posing a threat to democracy and to security, as well as to the stability and competitiveness of the economic system. In the economic environmental dimension, we intend to strengthen dialogue on growth, innovation, human capital, good governance, and the transition to green energy. Our guiding principle, which will link the initiatives we will take, is to be found in our priority objective of reducing the divide of inequality through responsible leadership, because we believe the issue of inequality to be at the very heart of ensuring equitable and sustainable development. For example, we will pay special attention to implementing the OSCE Plan of Action on Gender Equality, and will strengthen our commitment to combat all forms of violence against women. Finally, there is the human dimension. Our common history has taught us that respect for rights, for fundamental freedoms, and for the rule of law are principles which are inextricably linked to our security. The protection of human dignity is our greatest common good. And so we would like to propose to participating states to pay greater attention in 2018 to countering trafficking in human beings and to protecting the rights of victims, especially women, children, and unaccompanied minors. We intend also to make greater efforts to countering all forms of racism, xenophobia, discrimination, and intolerance. It is not by chance that one of the most important events on our calendar, the first event, will be the International Conference on Fighting Anti-Semitism in the OSCE area. I would like thus to be able to count on your broad participation in this event, which will be held in Rome on 29th January. I'm also very happy to introduce to you Professor Salvatore Martinez here today, who is the president of the Italian Observatory on Religious Minorities in the World and on the Respect of Religious Freedom. I have nominated him to be my personal representative for the fight against racism, xenophobia, and discrimination. When fundamental rights are protected by the legal system and in everyday life, without exceptions or discrimination, then the rule of law is affirmed and security is guaranteed. However, if no such protection exists, then conflicts multiply and social and political instability can arise. Secretary General, ladies and gentlemen, permanent representatives, Italy is proud to assume the 2018 OSCE chairmanship and to begin its work with all of you, representatives of participating states and partners. We believe in the success of the OSCE because this organization unites us by our common history, by our shared impetus for peace in the face of every threat, and by our deep desire for cooperation. My wish is that this deep and precious bond of unity between all of the participating states will allow us this year to strengthen our shared commitment to the stability and security of our great area of freedom of the OSCE. Thus, allow me to conclude by wishing to all of you a very happy new year, and may this new year be one of stability, security, and peace for our peoples and our countries. Thank you very much.
Grazie, Presidente.
Thank you very much,
To escort the media representatives from the hall. Thank you very much for being here today. And